We're back with another jam-packed episode of Lunes Live. Your favorite compas got you covered with all of our NFL Week 15 takeaways. Plus, we get into the Chargers 40-17 loss to the Buccaneers. The Rams are now in first place after Geno Smith and Sam Howell screwed me over in the NFC after Seattle lost to the Packers on Sunday Night Football. All right, Gilberto, do you have an engagement question for our viewers and or listeners?
Yes, I do. Maybe the engagement question should have been who are the biggest frauds in the NFL, because the Seattle Seahawks might be number one on that list. Total frauds there. But I am worried about
Put
the
another
Detroit.
team in there last week.
What was my other team? Oh, we'll get into it. I don't care about 1 week. But for the engagement question of the week, is it time to panic about the Detroit Lions? And it's not about one game, not one loss. I don't give a crap about that. It's all the damn injuries. This team is ravaged by injuries. All the issues on the defensive side finally caught up to them. Then they lost Liam McNeil, the defensive stud in the interior for the Lions. And now also offense, David Montgomery, the running back, the heart and soul, the igniter, the closer of the Detroit Lions. So should you be worried, concerned, panic, or what should you be feeling? Let me know in the comments for the Detroit Lions right now.
All right. Now let's go with the intro.
Compas on the beat. Let's get it. Let's go.
Yeah. So we're compas.
Yeah, we are.
There you go.
Hey. There you go. Okay, all right. We got proof right there.
Some guy that seems like he's asleep. Need you to wake up, Gilbert. There's a lot of energy.
Come on, Gilbert. Let's go.
Come on. Dan and Dago is at Moe's.
I'll show you. I'll show you. I got it right.
Okay, that's it. You guys, I am done with mine, but that's couldn't get better than a 2026 6th-round pick swap for a 7-rounder. So
Freaking love you, Chad.
Hey, dude. Cool, man.
Compas on the beat, man. Derwin James signing off, man. Watch Compas on the beat, man.
Welcome to Compas on the Beat. I'm Fernando Ramirez. I cover the Charge for the Sporting Tribune. With me, as always, my co-host, my tag team partner, Gilbert Montano, covers the NFL for Sports Illustrated. What's up, bro?
what's up, Fernando? I have a lot of questions, but who asked for a Monday Night Football doubleheader in Week 15? And also, who asked for the Falcons and the Raiders and the Bears and the Vikings on Monday Night Football? I really don't care, but I got to watch.
Surprised they didn't flex, especially with so many good games at 1 o'clock yesterday.
They were bad games that were supposed to be good. Put it that way.
Well, yeah, that is true. Well, no, I think the Eagles and Steelers.
You thought that was entertaining? That was a snooze fest.
Oh, really?
That game was over like within the second quarter.
Oh, well, yeah, I get. Well, okay, Buffalo Bills and the Lions. I mean, that
game was over by the second quarter. They were just playing catch up the whole time. I don't care about the final scoreboard.
Yeah, no, I guess so.
Buccaneers, Chargers, anybody? Also boring. You guys know why. What's the other one that was also?
Well, that one was entertaining in the first half. Then in the second half,
even Colts and the Broncos was just terrible. Nothing. It was all boring routes here. Daniel Ramirez. Who's Daniel Ramirez, by the way? I just know Dan and Dago. See, I don't hide behind the Compas page to call you a stooge. Who cares, crybaby?
No, I actually give him a lot of credit. Yesterday, I don't think you would have done this. He stood outside in the cold.
Hey,
and he was on for 30 minutes.
I'll give him credit.
He drank a beer.
I saw that. Nice Modelo. I was a little jealous there. I wanted to be with my guy there. And also a cool background. He had the SoFi Stadium in the back. I like it. Did he have a microphone too?
Yeah, I was wondering what he was going to pull out. And I see him and I'm like, dude, that's a sick ass background. He goes, I can't hear you. Hold on. And then he like fixes it. And
I can't see the comments.
Yeah, and then he's like, I can't see the comments. So, but no, he had a killer background. He was able to, he had his buddy Brock watching his back, just in case. Because Daniel was in one of those. Dan looks over, and I'm like, what is he looking at? And he's like, he tells me after, yeah, there was a car accident. I was like, oh, really? He's like, yeah, a guy scraped another guy's car, and he got out of the car, and he's like, oh, hell no. And then he's like, oh, no. He's like, here we go. So, yeah, no, it was Dan definitely went all out, and I should have had him out of there in 20 to 25 minutes, but the chat was really going crazy. So I was like, all right, we need to stick around for a little bit. And yeah, no, Dan was a trooper.
Yeah, I wanted to get Dan a little emotional, riled up, before he goes and be a professional on live. So I said, hey, Dan, I picked the Buccaneers, by the way. So what about that Gilberto curse you keep talking about and yapping about? It's not real, by the way. And he told me to
That's real.
I want to say F off. That's what he told me. So
There was a bunch of no, you weren't the only one. There was a bunch of people messaging him. So he was not too happy with all these people coming out because, like he said, when they win, everybody stays quiet, nobody texts them. But as soon as they lose, he's got text messages and inbox on Instagram full of people trying to come back at him. So yeah,
I do gotta say I've been 2 for 2 the last 2 weeks on picking Chargers games, but what do I know?
Oh well, the Chiefs game, come on, that's a gimme. So
What are you talking about? A lot of people believe they're gonna beat the Chiefs, and people also.
Oh, you're talking about your coworkers. I don't talk about
some people. I don't know.
There were like 4 of your coworkers that chose the
I don't know.
Chargers, not me.
I know these teams very well. Sometimes.
Yeah. I mean, let's just get right into it. They ended up losing 40-17. Obviously, the same stuff has come up that has been coming up the whole season. The Chargers can either play the first half of offense or they can play the second half. Teams are making adjustments, are doing well to adjust to them. Yesterday, Todd Bowles started sending pressure, started jamming the receivers of the line, started doing a lot of different things to disrupt the Chargers' offense and confusing the offensive line, doing everything that they could. And they got to Herbert. They hit Herbert. They sacked him. They only allowed them to score 17 points. So I thought the turning point of this game, though, was in the second quarter. Joey Bosa rips the ball out of it wasn't Bucky Irving, it was Rashad White. Rips the ball out of his hands. Elijah Molden gets it. They're about the 49-yard line of the Chargers. They went 3 and out. The Chargers were up 17-10 at that point. If they would have gone down the field, scored a touchdown, you put it at 24-10. Baker's playing catch up. Chargers dropped a couple of interceptions also, but if you have him playing catch up, Baker gets antsy and he doesn't put on the game that he does. But I've been telling people this, and I've been telling you this for a while. That record, I don't care what the Bucs are at. They're a good football team. Baker said yesterday, we can run 12 personnel. We can run 21 personnel. We can run any kind of different personnel with the team that we have, and we can hit you in the mouth. And that's true. 200 yards of running against the Chargers, 200 plus, and then another 260 via the air with Mike Evans going completely off on the Chargers secondary. So they were able to do a lot of different things against the Chargers, and everything was successful, especially in the second half. Gilbert, they didn't punt the ball once. They were 9 of 15 on third down. The Chargers were 0 for 6 on offense. And all of a sudden, the Chargers are not running the football. They're not doing what they usually do. So, everything kind of fell apart. And now everybody's questioning Jim Harbaugh. They're questioning Greg Roman. They're questioning Joe Ortiz. And it's just the same song and dance every week. When they do well, everybody's going to be like, yeah, no, we're on the right path. When they lose, oh my God, these guys don't know what they're doing. There's journalists and other people that know they could run the team better than the people that are in there. It's like, dude, come on, like, let's get out of here. Like, that's not the way this goes. But I guess fans want to jump on, jump off, jump on, jump off. And I just feel like that's not a safe way to do this. But that kind of seems the way that fans and a lot of people are going. I'm still preaching what you and I have been preaching from the beginning. Patience, but there is no patience right now for this team.
Yeah, that's kind of the annoying part about this season, that a lot of Chargers fans got way too excited about the Jim Harbaugh signing and just said immediately about to knock off the Chiefs in the AFC, immediately about to win the Super Bowl, immediately about to be a contender. And I guess I became the villain of the offseason because I kept saying, well, hold on. And maybe my analysis was a little too, a little off and a little negative. Maybe they are better. They're not 7 or 8 win team like I expected. They're probably 9 or 10. So they're still on track and doing well. It's a 2-year plan. But before I get to the Chargers, I want to just say I agree with everything you said about the Buccaneers, by the way, Fernando. I think they might even be better after these injuries because they were able to use K. Otton a little more. They had to rely on Rashad White and Bucky Irvin a little more. And that's going after the comments of Baker Mayfield saying we could play in different ways now. Now that Mike Evans is back, yeah, you lose Chris Godwin. But I think this offense is versatile, could beat you in different ways. So I think the Chargers defense saw that yesterday. But yeah, going back to the Chargers here, they are still a 2-year plan away. I think next year will be better. It's just too many injuries, a lot of glaring holes, a lack of depth. And here's what I'm going to harp on, Fernando. I think the defense was overrated a lot because of the easy schedule to start the season here. So, when I saw them give up a lot of points to the Ravens and the Bengals, I was like, okay, maybe we're a little too quick to crown the defense here. And to the credit of Liam Cohen and Todd Bowles, they watched that game plan. You could tell they watched those two games very close to set up their own game plan and expose that defense there. And when they came out with that touchdown to McMillan right away, I think Liam Cohen was probably saying, okay, we could attack this defense down the field. And you saw in the second half, they made an emphasis to push the ball down the field with Mike Evans, and then that game was over. When Baker Mayfield saw that Mike Evans was going to be wide open there, and they can't stop it, they kept going to him back and back again. And now he's getting close to getting maybe that streak, by the way, Fernando, for 1,000 yards in a season. He might have lost it because he
wasn't on, and last night kind of moved him back into that streak.
He missed 3 games. He had like 500 yards at that point. Now he's at 749 because he went off with 159 and 2 touchdowns right there. So I want to see him get that streak, by the way, because he will tie Jerry Rice for the most consecutive seasons with 1,000 yards receiving, which would be 11. He currently has a record for 10 consecutive to start the career. But yeah, I could praise Mike Evans for many, many, many minutes and hours because he's that good. 11 years in the NFL and still balling like that. But yeah, I think the Chargers defense was overrated. Jesse Minter, the last time he got a whooping like that was probably at the Fiesta Bowl where Quentin Johnson went off on Michigan. So it's been a long time. Nobody dropped 40 points. The Ravens and the Bengals didn't do it. Nobody's amassed more than 500 total yards. The Ravens and the Bengals didn't do it. The Buccaneers did. So this defense is also maybe a year away. We wanted to crown them very quickly, but that's a credit to Minter for making it work. But kind of young players, older players, and not really all the players that you want on your roster. But yeah, we're going to keep saying it. They're probably a year away from actually being a real contender. And just to be a little negative here, are you worried about them maybe dropping out of the playoff hunt? They're the 7th seed now. And also, what did they play Buffalo in the first round? Maybe the Chiefs too, but it could be a quick one and done, or maybe they fall apart at the end. Who knows?
I think the only way that they could do it, like if Indy and Miami would have won yesterday, then yeah, they should be worried. But I believe they only need to win one more game to clinch a playoff spot. If I'm not 100% mistaken.
Yeah, they do. Beat the damn Broncos, man, and get back on page.
No, and that's the game that they need to be focused on winning, because that game will show a lot. It'll shut a lot of people up. I thought Indy had one of the stupidest game plans I've seen, and that's why they kind of gave that game up. Jonathan Allen dropping the ball, and then the pick six. That
from the wide receiver.
What did they do? They threw a wide receiver screen. Yeah. Well, no, he threw it behind the.
Yeah, it was a fumble technically because it was behind the line of scrimmage.
Well, yeah, and then he threw it back to him, and he intercepted it, and he ran it back. Like the stupidity knows no ends. But just hopped on Compas. I saw that they had a holiday party over the weekend. Probably drank too much and weren't prepared. Their losses, their only outlier loss is the Cardinals. Everybody else, it's established coaches that have been in the league. Andy Reid twice, Mike Tomlin, John Harbaugh, Todd Bowles. And I know people are going to be like, Todd Bowles isn't in the same discussion as those guys. I get it, but he's been with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers organization since 2019.
Yeah, very good, at least on defensive side.
Yeah, and he got elevated to that head coaching job once Bruce Arians said, "Hey, I'm going to retire. I want to spend time with my family, with my mother, and I'm out." So yeah, the Chargers would basically need to lose out if they would need to lose out. But I mean, in a sense, now everybody's talking about Liam Cohen, Mike Vrabel, Ben Johnson for head coaching gigs. Maybe Jesse Minter stay. I mean, that's the best case scenario for these guys. These guys need him to stay. I really think that what's it called? I really think that Jesse Minter's. I think he's shown out. I think he's shown out with the personnel that he has, but it also takes him them by surprise in a sense, like games like the ones that you mentioned against the Bengals and against the Ravens and against these guys. Though they just have high powered offense is what's giving these guys trouble, and it's going to continue to give them trouble. But going back to that playoff scenario, I mean, You never know in the play. That's the thing. You never know in the playoffs. So,
I
but
don't know. I don't see
it-
this team beating the Bills at all. In the 2-7 matchup,
the what?
they cannot. They will not beat the Bills in the 2-7 matchup. I will not give them a chance.
Yeah, the Bills would have to like completely, but
They haven't stopped any of the good offenses this year defensively, and you can't score points
that's
either.
true. That thing
Like,
too.
I just don't see. Maybe the Chiefs, yeah, you know them well. You play, low scoring, hard fought games, but
And
not
I'm
by-
not trying to be an optimist, but your offense can't even. Yeah, that's
Can't
what
score.
you like, because they've been giving up a lot of points
yeah,
on
so
their
that's
side.
the one thing you get, but they can't do that.
Yeah, yeah. Angel, I understand. Like, I get you guys are freaking out, but like, I can't even get into this because I feel like fans have been really
Well,
critical.
I want to hear
And it's
what's
easy to
that?
be critical from the couch, but they don't have the personnel to run their offense. Like, everybody's been talking about it.
What
They
is it?
haven't
What
been
is the
able to
problem
run.
that with Jim Harbaugh? People are freaking out. Like, what did he do so bad yesterday?
People
it was a
think that
blowout.
the clock management again, like, people are freaking out because he decided to punt instead of kick field goals. People thought that they gave too much time to the Chiefs last week. It's just little things that everybody forgets. Jim is also adjusting to being back in the NFL. This isn't the NFL that he left. This is a new NFL. Things have changed. Again, I'm not trying to I'm trying to be in the middle because I feel like a lot of fans are freaking out. A lot of fans think that they could do a better job. A lot of journalists think that they can do a better job. A lot of people in general think they could do a better job. And it's like, you guys also have to understand this team was a shit show. They have a lot of players that shouldn't even be out there. I could name you, I think only 12 players on this team should be actual starters, and the rest of them shouldn't even be starting on both sides of the team. And no, they got their asses kicked in that game. They got their asses kicked against Baltimore. They've gotten their asses kicked. I get it, but to also be freaking out after 10, what game are we at? 13 games in?
14.
I get it, but I just think but see, that's another thing. Greg Roman needs to go. Find a solution. Like, I just don't get it. Like, it's only year one. People are freaking out, and I'm kind of like, I would wait. People need to wait. And then next year, what if they're what are we at? 13-2 at this point. Then what are people going to say? That's the thing. You guys haven't even seen anything of it. That's why I don't understand the freak out. But I mean, it is what it is. I don't know. I really don't get it.
Yeah, I thought they'll be, I guess, a little better to the point where like they're the 7 seeds. I guess that's my only kind of like concern here. But like they're gonna be a playoff team. They're gonna be so much better from anything that happened in the Staley era because they're actually working on building through the trenches and building the fundamentals. Building, being a tough physical team. So yeah, they've been struggling against the good offenses, and that's why they've been a little overrated defensively. But the way they've been punishing the mediocre teams, the bad teams, like that's a right step in the direction there. So. People don't want to hear that, I'm definitely not a homer, a positive person.
You
but
have to be able to beat those teams.
yeah, so if you could do that, take care of business against the bad teams and the mediocre teams, so you're in the playoffs. Like the Bengals are not, the Dolphins are not. So we'll see. They're gonna finish it. Like you're right, Fernando. There's 3 games to go, and they're 3 games ahead. I just worry about them being the 7th seed because you don't want to be in that position there. You can make some noise. Maybe you play the Steelers without George Pickens, and maybe TJ Watt's also banged up too. You could maybe get away with that, but. The 2-7, I don't think so. But hey, you're in the dance here, and who saw that coming last year during the dark days of the final year for Brandon Staley?
No, and even people before this season, a lot of people thought that Jim was only going to win 7 games, 5 games.
I said 8 or 7, so yeah, I was wrong.
Robert is so funny. Not a homer, you're a hater.
I am not. I'm the one saying let's come on, let's calm down, people. They're still in a good spot here. I'm being positive today. Come on.
That's what that's what I don't get. Like this is a team. This is a lot of the players from the 5 and 12 charge. I keep on wanting to say 5 and 11. I keep on forgetting that they're 17.
Maybe 18 soon, so don't remember.
Yeah, exactly. What did they say? 20 by 2027?
Something.
But in Gilbert, this is what I was telling. I talked to a former Chargers legend former Chargers player yesterday, and he goes, "My one area of concern is, and I know Jim's gonna fix this, is they need to stop getting Herbert hit so much, because that could be Andrew Luck 2.0 if they're not careful." And I completely agree. They need to protect him, and that's
it's been tough, but man, there's a lot of hits he's taking.
Yeah, it's been tough, and like I said, teams have been blitzing, teams have been doing a lot of really smart things. Like yesterday, I think it was it come out? No, Gus Edwards and the tight end and Scott Madlock decided to block the same guy. Levante David came straight through, and then he sacked Herbert. And it's like that attention to detail is basically what Jim's trying to fix. But I get it. I get the frustration. I just don't think it's warranted. I think everybody needs to wait. And they have to remember he was out of the NFL for 9 years. He's coming back. He's trying to adjust. They're trying to see what their style of gameplay is going to be. And I just feel like everybody needs to relax a little bit. I mean, they're down to what? Tight end 3, 4, and 5. They're down to, they have Scott Madlock at fullback. They're down to running back 2, 3. Receivers are just bad, but I just
offensive line not very good.
Yeah. No, the inside of that offensive line is terrible. So I just I don't know. We'll see what happens moving forward. All right. The Rams end up defeating the 49ers 12-6. I think Deebo Samuel defeated the 49ers on Thursday. That was so you're gonna be complaining the whole week about I'm always open. I need touches. And in the most critical moment, you have a slant on third and 4, 3rd and 5, and you drop it. I couldn't believe it. But the Rams are showing you that they can win ugly. The Rams are showing you that they can win in a shootout. The Rams are showing you different ways that they're gonna have to win. They can win in many different ways, and that's a toughness that the Rams are showing. Gilbert, I am gonna steer away from this for a little bit because I do want to ask you about a certain question that was asked today of oh God, hold on. I'm going. Oh, there we go. McVay was asked today on a possible return via our good friend Gary Klein of the LA Times. McVay on a possible Aaron Donald return. I would almost feel disrespectful reaching out to him just based on the principles and knowing him the way that I do. If that was something that he got interested in, then that would obviously be something that you're always open to. Holy shit, can this guy just say whatever he means and not speak in like the weirdest riddles? Like, what are we doing? But Gilbert, if they had like, can you imagine if they did bring it? You think so?
They should call. And shout out to Gary Klein for asking the question. That's a good question. We're about to get to the playoffs. They're in a good spot here. Bring back Aaron Donald for a playoff run.
You know what they should do? When's their next home game?
Not the week after the Jets game. They play the Cardinals.
They should like not tell anybody. He's still like he can still reinstate himself without the league finding out. Then all of a sudden they introduce the players and they go, hand wearing number 99, defensive tackle Aaron.
Like it's the WWE, like a big return.
Oh, dude, can you imagine? The Cardinals fans and the Rams fans would all get excited inside of SoFi Stadium.
The guy who saw Undertaker lose, like,
yeah, they're like, oh no, they're like that guy. Yeah, when the Undertaker lost, the guy was like, what? So, there you go. Dan's favorite player, Simone Biles, is at the Bears game. And AD lives. Thank you, Vic. AD lives 10 minutes from the practice facility. Dude, that would be. They kind of do. Oh, they're doing their cute little handshake. Oh, God.
I thought for a second you were going to annoy me because I'm like, you better not ask me about OBJ. OBJ cannot play anymore. And stop asking about him.
No. Hell, he couldn't even do anything with the Dolphins. No, this has to be a reality. Like, Aaron Donald just uploaded a picture a couple of weeks ago or a video of him working out.
He's still training, but.
Come on.
Yeah. That'll be cool, but I think he wouldn't do it. I think I believe when he said he's done, but they got to at least make a phone call. Hey, what's up, man? How you doing, AD?
AD coming back has the same chance as Devondre Campbell signing an extension with the 49ers.
That's pretty good. By the way,
Deebo has some good stuff to say.
Deebo Samuel is so lucky that Devondre Campbell decided to quit on his team because the spotlight was on that guy and not on him.
By the way, for George Kittle and those guys to come out and like sit and rip them,
I don't blame him. Crazy. That's a coward move, man. That's some sucker shit. How's Ward said?
Chicken shit. Obviously, on the other side, the Seahawks end up losing to the Green Bay Packers, 30-13.
Wasn't even
By the
close.
way, on the way back from LA, Eric Williams was watching the game on his laptop, and I kind of got distracted a couple times because I was driving. And he goes, "Damn, I think Josh Jacobs fumbled." And I'm like, "Let's go." And then he's like, "Sam Howell's coming back out." I was like, "Shit, I'm screwed." I'm
He
like,
stinks.
yeah, he's terrible. He shouldn't even be
He
in
had
the
a,
league.
he had a
I don't
terrible
know.
interception too.
Yeah, no, he was terrible. Is this the Rams division to lose?
Oh yeah, they're definitely the favorite, even though I feel like there's always a favorite every week. But you got to handle business against the New York Jets here. I do worry about them, but maybe a Cardinals team. But even the Cardinals were so frustrating to watch against the Patriots. It took them a while to beat the Patriots, but they don't have anything going offensively. That Cardinal team. I know it's not about the Cardinals, but it just annoyed me because they couldn't figure it out offensively. So maybe they could get in the way there. But I could definitely see them running the table. You got to handle business against the Jets there, who beat the Jaguars. Okay, big whoop. Devontae Adams is back. I do not care. Your season's over. You guys still stink. But yeah, I can see them running the table. It's definitely in their division. And I know that a lot of people want to talk about Puka and Matthew Stafford and Kyron Williams, but that defense has been playing well. Chris Shula, credit to him for getting that defense going without Aaron Donald. Maybe Jared Verse might not win the defensive rookie of the year anymore. It might be Quinion Mitchell, but he's still a very good edge rusher. And Kobe Turner, man, he's definitely stepped up. He made a name for himself on Thursday Night Football. People don't talk about him too much. So Kobe Turner having the 2 sacks there.
That's
so you can
bullshit. Jared Verse should win it. I chose him.
I think so too, but we'll see. I think the Eagles are getting a lot of love right now. But yeah, they have a good front. They can rush the passer. The offensive line could be a little shaky, hit or miss sometimes, but they've been doing well in that department too. So I think I'm finally able to trust the Rams after they beat the 49ers and the Bills, and they did it in different ways. You got a shootout, and then you have a slugfest with the defense bailing you out, and they made field goals too. So I think it is fair to say it's a division to lose here.
For the folks keeping score at home, Mike McDonald says Geno Smith should be able to practice and play this week. Says Bob Condata from the
Seattle Times.
Seattle Times. So he definitely is. Can you imagine if we got an NFC Championship of Vic's Eagles versus your Vikings?
Oh yeah, hopefully they finish 14-3. The Lions, by the way, might play the Vikings for the division on Sunday Night Football. They play each other week 18.
The Vikings, is it this Sunday?
No, week 18 they play each other. So it might be a division game.
No, it won't. Detroit's going to lose one more game before that. The Vikings will win.
Well, they play the Bears and the 49ers.
I think the Vikings are going to win the division at this point.
Well, if they play, I want to see them play each other with a tied record. But I don't know how the tiebreaker will be because the Lions beat the.
Part of me still thinks that the Seahawks and the Rams could be playing for the division in that Week 18 game.
The Seahawks play somebody difficult. I forget.
Steelers.
I'm blanking. Who the hell?
I got you.
Let me know who they play this week. But there's
Vikings come there.
I say the Vikings beat them because they're not good against the better teams. They're frauds. I don't care about them.
Let me go. Ooh, Cardinals at Panthers.
I think the Cardinals have a little bit of hope. They did beat
up. No, they have
a
lot of hope. If they can go into Carolina and win, and then they come to LA and beat them, they have the 49ers at home, and the 49ers have given up.
They will have the tiebreaker over the Rams because they beat them.
You know what's funny? Time. I actually do agree with this.
What would be in the second round? No. First round? Oh yeah, probably 4 or 5.
First round. 4 or 5. Yeah. So basically, the Vikings win the division. The Lions go down to the. Can you imagine the Lions the whole season have had the #1 seed, and at the end they piss it away because of all the injuries? Yeah. And
I think they shouldn't worry about the #1 seed. They got to get healthy, man.
Yeah. No, I completely agree. That would be fun.
The Buccaneers.
I would actually ask to go to this game.
I could see the Bucs and the Rams making some noise.
Would you go to this?
If it's in SoFi, yeah.
I would ask to go to this. I would definitely love to see what
I could see the Rams and the Buccaneers beating the 2 wildcard teams from the NFC North. I would not be surprised.
Oh yeah, you know what's funny? Even if whatever happens tonight, I kind of feel like the Bucs kind of have that division. The Bucs go to the Cowboys next week on Sunday Night Football. Lord Almighty. The Panthers come there, and then the Saints come home. Yeah, the Bucs are winning. The Bucs are winning that division. Falcons finish out. tonight with the Raiders. The Giants come there, and then they go to the Commanders.
They might lose all three. I don't have any faith in the Falcons.
Oh wait, the Falcons still have 4 games, and then the Panthers come there.
They play.
Yeah,
tonight.
they'll lose to the Commanders, and that'll be the
They'll lose at least 2 here.
Yeah. No, that's definitely Jeffrey. Thank you for tuning in. The vibes are good here on the show, but I had to tell Charger fans I need to chill again because they're literally they're on the ledge again. But all right,
yeah, let's pick up the pace here a little bit.
Gilbert, what was your takeaway from this week?
Yeah, I won't spend too much time here, but like I mentioned at the top of the show, I was very disappointed with the late window games. They were all boring. I can't even find one game I even liked. Like maybe the Saints and the Commanders had a wild ending, but that goes to my point here: the poor officiating. Like, did you see that the clock froze when there was 9 seconds to go?
No, I saw that they had a pool report and everything, but I was doing stuff pregame, like Pancho and Adrian asked me to jump on, and I really couldn't. He asked me to jump on for like 30 minutes. I was like, oh wow, so it was definitely interested.
And Espanol?
Yeah. So I did that for
Fluent
for a while. And they gave Dan's football team a shout out, so that was pretty cool. Yeah.
CIF champion.
I know.
But yeah, no, if you want, go check that out because I've never seen it before. The time was ticking.
New Orleans, you've never seen the lights go out in the Super Bowl.
Actually, think about it. That might be the one spot where something weird happened. But it froze at 9 seconds
this year.
There you go again. But the Commanders were supposed to win that game. They did win the game, but in a way, I'm glad that the Saints, missed a 2-point conversion because people would have lost their minds here. It froze at 9 seconds for like 4 seconds, by the way. And then they, with enough time, Spencer Rattler, your boy Rattler, spiked the ball, got the touchdown, and they went for 2 there, and they missed a 2-point conversion. But they would have not got that touchdown if the clock would have kept going. Then there was like a weird sequence too, where I think the Commanders kicker got a field goal. He missed it, and the officials were like, "No, we're going to the 4th quarter now. Let's do a retry." Freaking Rizzi, the interim coach for the Saints, was livid. He was pissed off. They got another kick, made the field goal. So poor officiating right there. And then what's up with the players dropping the football before scoring? Don't celebrate. Get at the damn end zone, and then you celebrate. Freaking Jonathan Taylor, when he dropped that touchdown, that game was over. Indianapolis, who I picked the win as an upset. You hear that, Robert? I picked the Colts over the Broncos here. You think I'm some kind of Bronco supporter here. And they blew it because Taylor killed the momentum there. So, and then I could name a bunch of poor coaching decisions throughout the league, man. I don't know what it is. And then for one more point here, now we're about to get this forced Christmas schedule, which I've been hating since the schedule came out on Netflix, where they're forcing teams like the Steelers and the Texans and the Chiefs and the Ravens to play practically 3 games in 11
Saturday, and then they're all playing together. They're all playing Saturday, right? And they're all playing again.
That's like 3 games in 11 days. And then now I want Mahomes to maybe miss both games. So see, you want Mahomes to be on your primetime ratings here on Christmas Day. Well, now you get Carson Wentz. So eat it, terrible league officials here.
They're not.
And then also
Mahomes
the Red Zone channel, one more thing. They're doing commercials now on Red Zone. What the hell's going on with the NFL? Selling out for a quick buck here. So everything about this weekend I did not like.
Dan was not happy because he was asking me today because we were driving and we were talking a little to my cousin on the phone, and he's like, quick question, because he was scrolling through Twitter. He's like, is Raw gonna have commercials when they move to Netflix? And I'm like, I believe so. He's like, shit. He's like, then what's the point? So I started laughing. Oh, here we go. Fuck, freaking.
Well, they gotta make their money somehow, apparently.
I guess so. Do not use them. You'll probably just get naughty. You'll probably get that one girl that tried to do 100 guys in 24 hours. My takeaway is easy. The NFC playoffs is going to be an offensive bloodbath. The AFC will be defensive oriented when it comes to the playoffs. These offenses can really put up points in the NFC. I mean, you're going to have Tampa Bay could light up against anybody. They don't care. And they've already gone into Detroit. They've beaten Detroit. You have Minnesota, who's offensive minded. By the way, Roger Lodge asked me today, is it Josh Allen's MVP to lose? Exactly. Is it his MVP to lose, Josh Allen's, or could somebody else challenge him? And I told him, Roger, if the Vikings take that number 1 seed,
Get out of here. It's
why?
not Sam Darnold. Sam Darnold will not get the votes. I'll tell you that right now.
Why?
Justin Jefferson has a better chance.
One white against another white. Who's gonna be the voter?
Well, the other one is much better. That's why.
By the way, did you see ever since he proposed that actress? Hold on, I have the stat right here. These are stats that are interesting. He has scored 14 touchdowns, over 1,300 total yards, 0 turnovers, 0 sacks. Can you imagine? A man in love is just going off.
Yeah, but I like this love story of Patrick Mahomes or Brittany Mahomes. 3 Super Bowls since they've been together, so I like that one better.
That's so lame. Well,
one has 0 and one has 3. Which couple would you rather have?
Well, but this one's recent. What if they turn around and win the Super Bowl?
Okay, all right, and then we definitely have a new terror on the league.
The Bills do look different. Matt Milano was back.
No,
they had Keon Coleman back. They had Dalton Kincaid back. Man, they have weapons. They can bang and
they can bang. Okay, I've seen this movie before, by the way. So
no, this is different.
That's what I said about the Ravens last year. Oh,
no, hell no. There is no. By the way, I have a fun game plan for you guys in the offseason.
Can they play defense? Can they have a coach that makes the right moves? I don't know that.
Ooh.
The Bills.
Oh yeah. That's the only outlier. But I don't know. I'm interested to see. I do want to see. I would love to see in the second round Chargers Chiefs, and then in the third round I'd love to see Bills and Chiefs in the AFC Championship. I think those two would be interesting. I don't want to see the Ravens against the Chiefs. By the way, yesterday again, Tyler Dragon was fighting me that the Ravens could beat the Chiefs. I'm like, sir, I'm sorry. No, they cannot. I was like, that's it. No, they can't. Oh, he was mad at me, by the way. He's like, why haven't I been invited on the show recently? I was like, oh, yeah. I was like, shit.
For the playoffs.
I was like, wow. Yeah, that's what I was telling him. No, I don't know. Well, okay, that's just my takeaway. AFC is going to be defensive-minded. It's going to be hard to score points. The only team that can really score points, in my opinion, in the AFC is Baltimore.
Buffalo.
But even then... Oh, Buffalo. Sorry, Buffalo and Baltimore.
But if it's a defensive game in the AFCs, that's not Buffalo's strength, Fernando.
No. Tyler Dragon on House of Horns. He only wants to be on when I'm on so that he can talk crap to me. That's all we do. I just throw a bunch of shit at him, and he's like, "Why did I sit here and stay and eat breakfast with you?" By the way, the food was atrocious yesterday. Holy shit! Everything about it was terrible.
It better be better on Thursday.
I was complaining the whole way down. I was like, "What? What kind of crap was that?" So luckily there was a sandwich waiting for me when I got home, but I was like, Jesus, this is terrible. But yeah, I think that's going to happen. I think the NFC is going to be points lighting up because the only good defense on that side. Oh, well, the all whites of the Eagles and the
Eagles have good defense.
And the Vikings, they both have good defense.
Yeah.
Everybody else.
Good point.
Tampa's is good, but it's spotty. By the way, Vita Vea is a monster. That dude looks like he just feasts on everybody. But yeah, that is that. Gilbert, will the Lions' injuries keep them from the Super Bowl after losing 48-42 to your Buffalo Bills?
This is a tough question, but I'm going to say yes. And it's not even just all about the injury. I just think, like we were talking about, I think a lot of teams have a shot in the NFC. Like for a long time, we thought it was going to be Detroit. And then even for a while, we thought Detroit and Philly. But now I can see maybe Tampa. I can see the Rams. I can see the Vikings. I can see the Packers, not the Commanders. They got a gift there with the missed 2-point conversion. But they should have won that game. Freaking clock, regardless. But yeah, that's 6 teams right there that I think could definitely win. I definitely have all the faith in Baker Mayfield to go, which I never thought would have said that 2 years ago or a year ago. So
I said it a year ago.
Yeah, I know you're a believer. But yeah, so the defensive issues are definitely a big problem. And then you got by without Aiden Hutchinson for a long time because you have a Liam McNeil in the middle that kind of creates some havoc, push the pocket there. Now you don't have that. Now you have older guys like as a Darius Smith and DJ Reader to be your number 1 players when they were supposed to be the number 2s. So you're losing the depth. You have older players. The secondary is not good at all. And then you're very banged up at linebacker. And then offensively, you lose David Montgomery. Like I kind of want to see, Fernando, what Ben Johnson does with Jahmyr Gibbs as a number 1 back here because let's not lie here. Jahmyr Gibbs has benefited from soft defenses because David Montgomery puts a whooping on them in the first quarter. He also closed the game in the fourth quarter. So I want to see what you're about, Jameer Gibbs here. But go ahead and point out these injuries here.
Yeah, Aiden Hutchinson, Aleem McNeil, Carlton Davis, Alex Anzalone, Derek Barnes, Broderick Martin, Khalil Dorsey, Ifa Autu Melafonwu. Yeah, there you go. Ennis Rakestraw Jr., Emmanuel Mosley. So
the first two are their best defensive players, and I don't have them anymore.
Yeah. So and I know that they said Aiden Hutchinson would probably come back for the Super Bowl and everything.
They make it that far?
Yeah, I just don't see.
They have the offense though; they're very explosive, but they couldn't stop.
No, but they just lost. They just lost David Montgomery. That kind of gives away your.
I worry about that too.
By the way, yesterday, what impressed me about the Bills, they have their running backs making catch, like Ty Johnson, or is that his name?
Yeah.
That guy was all over the field. Like
I was like, who the hell is that guy? Where'd he come from?
Exactly. So, well, all good things. That was all the defensive injuries. I don't think it was offensive.
All defense.
Yeah. So I need to take.
I don't even think it had Carlton Davis III on it, who broke his jaw in the game. It did. Okay.
Yeah, he was a Super Bowl winning corner with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. So
he's not very good with the Lions, though. He was pretty bad this year, but
no, he's been. That's why I'm wondering if I don't think they're going to lose their defensive coordinator, maybe. But
I honestly think the Lions should alter their coaching schemes in the last 3 games. Who cares if you lose a couple of games? You need to learn how to adjust because playing man coverage with those backups is not good.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. That's gonna be really bad. Gilbert, the Chiefs dominate the Browns 21-7, but lose Patrick Mahomes to an ankle injury. They went high and low on him. Should the Chiefs protect the Mahomes and sit him versus the Texans?
Yes, you don't want to risk further injury to the ankle. Sit him against the Texans. I think Carson Wentz could beat the Texans. I know the Texans have a good defense, but imagine having I know the offensive line was better with Myles Garrett because they poked him in the eye. I saw that was pretty bad. But the offensive line, it has not been good for most of the season. Imagine having to deal with Will Anderson Jr., Danielle Hunter, and then TJ Watt, Alex Highsmith, like in a 4 or 5 day span when you have a bad ankle injury and a poor offensive line. So I would definitely sit Mahomes, maybe not for both games, but people want to see him on Christmas on Netflix, right? By the way, but you can't go from a 6-day rest to a 4-day rest and then play 3 games with a bum ankle here. Maybe this is the best thing to do. Sit him for that Texans game. Then you get kind of 10, 11 days before the Christmas game. And then after that, you get 10, 11 days again to end out the season against Denver, I think. And then you win the number 1 seed, you get another, 2 weeks off. So it could be probably the perfect way to rest Mahomes if you sit him against the Texans here. I get the whole Buffalo Bills number 1 seed here, but they have a 2-game advantage right now. Buffalo's not going to lose, by the way. They're playing the Patriots twice and the Jets here. So there's some pressure there, something to think about. But you already beaten Buffalo in Buffalo last year. So I would definitely prioritize rest here for Mahomes. And I want to see the league squirm and complain about Mahomes not playing on Christmas Day.
I think Mahomes is going to play. The only thing is, what would happen if Carson Wentz comes out and lights up the Houston Texans? Do we have a quarterback controversy? You have 3 Super Bowl rings versus 1.
Yeah.
So Carson Wentz won a Super Bowl. Doesn't matter how he did it, but he won a Super Bowl. No, but I agree with you. I just feel like the NFL is going to pressure them, and they would rather him be benched for this game coming up on Saturday than the game in a couple of weeks against
Steelers.
The Steelers. They'd rather Mahomes. And I'll tell you one thing, I'd sit him against the Steelers. I am not letting him. Those tackles are terrible. I would not let him get abused by TJ Watt and those pass rushers. But my brother, Dan and Dago, would love to see Mahomes champion himself, go out there and play this against Houston. Then next week, come out, champion himself, and try and play against the Steelers.
Yeah, go deal with Will Anderson Jr. and Danielle Hunter on short notice.
Yeah, my brother, Dan would love to see Mahomes challenge, further his legacy by going out there and playing against those guys. So,
okay.
But I get where you're coming from, and I do think that Andy Reid will be smart about
it's the perfect scenario, the perfect setup. You sit him for the Texans game, win out the final 2 games, and you still get the number 1 seed.
Yeah, I completely agree. Gilbert, Texans outlast the Dolphins 20-12 to secure their 2nd straight AFC title. Can the Texans win a playoff game with their defense doing the heavy lifting?
Maybe, but I want to say Tua Tagovailoa is not a good quarterback. He had some terrible interceptions. Derek Stingley Jr. is thanking him right now. He had 4 turnovers overall. I was watching that game pretty close, and I'm like, what the hell are you doing to it here? So I know it's not about Tua and the Dolphins right now, but do something differently, please. Stephen Ross, the owner of the Dolphins, the Chris Greer, the GM, can you do something different? Because you already blew it this offseason by paying the guy. Do something different. This guy can't make it work. So, anyways, going back to Houston. Finally, Houston gave us something to talk about because they've been so boring. CJ Stroud hasn't been good all year. They were lucky to win that game because of Tua's turnovers with the defense there. They have a very good front, man. I think they're second in the league in sacks here. They have, I think, 45 or 47 total sacks here. That deal with Hunter and Anderson Jr. are finally clicking on the same page here. D'Amico Ryans, man, ran circles all over Mike McDaniel, their former coworkers there with the 49ers. So it's a good defense there. So, you know, maybe you face the Ravens in the 4-5. Maybe you could get by shutting them down, but I don't know if they can. I could definitely see the Texans beating the Steelers in a 4-5. I think the Steelers might blow the division here because George Pickens being out. Yeah, that's a problem there. So I think that defense could maybe also you get a home game too. Let's not forget about that. Could maybe get them one game. So I won't rule it out here. I don't feel good about it, but I think they could do it. I think you went mute. Yep.
Sorry. Let's check on the state of the Dolphins fans right now.
Oh no! Don't show me this video again.
Oh no.
Okay, I thought we were doing the boom again.
No, that's how Dolphins. How Dolphins fans are feeling right now.
I will definitely trade Tua.
So who's gonna want him?
There's a bunch of quarterback needy teams. The Raiders will take him.
You know what's crazy?
The Giants will take him.
I think I saw a stat. No, yeah, in the cold. Yeah, no.
I know. Actually, yeah, good point. go to Vegas.
QBs with the most drop passes according to True Media. Aaron Rodgers with 32, tied for second. Justin Herbert with 25, tied with Bo Nix for at second, also with 25. So
Bo Nix is funny, man. People either love him or hate the guy. When he was crumbling with the 3 interceptions, everybody came out to say, "I told you about Bo Nix." And when he's doing well, people say, "I told you about Bo Nix." Can we just be in the middle about the guy? He's kind of a middle quarterback.
Yeah, but people, what was it? Well, there was like a stat about the Dolphins. The Dolphins against playoff teams.
Not very good.
And I think Mike McDaniel's stat is, he's 1-17 versus playoff teams. Tua finished. Okay, hold on. Tua finished in 2023 1-7 versus playoff teams. The Rams are the only team in the hunt or better. The Dolphins have beaten.
I don't know how they beat them.
Mike McDaniel is 3-15 versus teams with 500 or better. Those are time for big changes numbers, but can they even make any big changes? Tua just got paid. The highs of McDaniel experience feel high. Too high to even consider moving on. Fired Chris Greer for assembling an uber talented but injury-plagued roster. Do you try another DC after watching Vic Fangio dominate in Philly? Wow. Injuries are a reason, not an excuse to skate by on. Tua is obviously fragile, as is the roster. Interesting. That's Austin Gale from I think it's PFF. No, The Ringer. That's
they're tired of the guy, so either you trade him or you make some kind of changes for the scheme there. You got to alter it.
Yeah, I just wonder. I mean, the only place that I could see them trading him to is probably like a dome team. By the way, well, quick,
get a real running back, not a speedy one.
I have you for 4 more minutes before Monday Night Raw starts. Am I crazy for this? If I'm Aaron Rodgers' agent, like say that he goes into the hole, he comes out into the black hole of the abyss. He comes out and he's like, you know what? I want to play one more year. Am I crazy for saying, why don't you say, hey, this is like when Brett Favre went to the Jets. They played like shit. The Jets are cursed. The Jets suck. If you can get Aaron Rodgers into a good system, he could bounce back and he could have a Brett Favre style of run with the Minnesota Vikings next season. Would that be crazy to think about for him to go that route? Or do you feel like Aaron Rodgers is basically kaput?
I'm sure after how well he performed against the Jaguar, he's probably thinking, I can still do this. I can still perform well. But then, like, are you gonna get Devontae Adams and Garrett Wilson to go where to Miami or where? I guess Miami, you got Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle. Maybe that solves the problem right there. But I think he's gonna try to make an effort, and I don't know how many teams will say, you know what, we'll welcome you into our team here, and then give you everything that you want. I don't see that happening. We just saw Bill Belichick, who wanted all the power. NFL teams said no thanks.
Crazy. That was crazy.
Yeah, now he's with North Carolina. So, yeah, and
we'll get into that with Dan and Vic tomorrow.
Yeah, and then he reached out to the New York Jets, and they're kind of like, but that's more about the timeline being different because the college openings they want it now for recruiting, and the NFL teams are probably doing more like in late January or middle January. But that's a topic for tomorrow, and yeah, I could definitely see. I wouldn't put it past them, but I think it might require Aaron Rodgers kind of put in his pride aside and say, you know what, I'll wait around a little longer and see what happens throughout the offseason.
Can you imagine if, let's just say that Minnesota ends up getting kicked out in the NFC Championship by the Eagles?
It goes back
and
follows the path.
So can you imagine if like, let's just say that Sam Darnold is too expensive and they say, F it, we'll let him go in free agency. Aaron Rodgers says, hey, I'll sign a 1 year, $20 million contract, or 1 year, 15, or 1 year, 20, whatever you want. And he comes there with Justin Jefferson, Jordan Addison, and those guys. I don't know. I mean, and that offensive line, maybe he could ball out. But I mean, can you? Yeah, if he fully followed the path, that would be.
I think amazing. If not to be the guy who's, I guess, a killer of fun dreams and fun scenarios. If he's okay with saying, you know what, I will fully compete with JJ McCarthy for the job here. It's gonna be an open competition. Then you consider, because you don't want to rush the kid either, who's coming back from the ACL injury and also doesn't really know the playbook yet. I can see that as a decent fallback plan, but don't cave to all the demands that freaking Rodgers wants.
Oh no, yeah, no, he's gonna have to. Well, with Brett Favre, remember the Vikings like flew multiple times out to his ranch.
They went to get him on a jet.
Yeah, they did it a couple of times.
It was good for a year.
Yeah, no, that first year, but the second year he just got clobbered. They had a bunch of injuries. I also don't believe that Devontae Adams will be a Jet next season. I think they're going to cut him or they're going to do something, and he might hit free agency for the first time.
I think Garrett Wilson will be happy about that. I don't think he likes being the second or sharing.
I don't either. I'll tell you one thing. This would be crazy, and there's no way they do it because I'm sure he'd want a bunch of money, but I'm sure Herbert wouldn't mind having a guy like that guy as his receiver. But
hey, don't get the chat going before.
There you go. Yeah, no, you're right. All right, we appreciate you guys so much for checking out another episode of Lunes Live, right on time for Monday Night Raw. We will be jumping off. Gilbert, who do you got tonight? Vikings and Falcons?
Yes, I picked both teams. So
there you go. All right,
I wouldn't mind seeing some
upsets. The Raiders are going to win tonight.
So why not? Falcons suck anyways.
Yeah.
Desmond Ritter game.
Yeah, exactly. We appreciate you guys so much. Do not forget, tomorrow we will do the 4 Compas. On Wednesday, I will be pulling double duty. I will be doing at 3 o'clock. Eric Williams will be jumping on Wednesday at 3 o'clock on What's Up Bolts. We'll be discussing. You guys wanted him. Oh, that's pretty cool. They're doing a jersey for Randy Moss, who just came out that he had cancer. Or he's fighting through cancer. He's free of cancer. I don't know which one it is. It's Chris Carter. But on Wednesday, 3 o'clock, we will be jumping on with Eric Williams. And then I think around 6:30, House of Horns, I will be jumping on again on House of Horns. So make sure you guys tune into that. I'm guessing your Gilberto's hour and a half is on Thursday still. After wait, no.
Yeah.
It's not.
First of all, we've been sticking to an hour the last couple of weeks. We've been better.
Well, that's because Dan went in there last week and wrecked it. So
yeah, no, we're about to finish. But because we have a conflict here, I won't be available Wednesday, and then I'm gonna cover the Broncos Chargers game at SoFi. We're gonna do like a tape delay version of Gilberto's hour on Tuesday before 4 Compas. I won't be live. We'll just have it up. We'll record it Tuesday, and then we'll probably release it on Thursday or Wednesday.
Okay.
We'll see how it goes.
So there you go. That's how it's gonna go. But again, Eric Williams, 3 o'clock. He said, hey, that's the only time I can do it. I have basketball practice. I'm like, Eric, you still ball? He's like, no, I'm a coach. I'm like, oh, okay, cool. Yeah, worried about the knees a little bit, but but we'll definitely get him on. And again, Thursday, Gilbert and I will both be at SoFi Stadium. So make sure you guys tune in. And again, right after the game, Dan and Dago and I will jump on and discuss. I don't know yet if Dan will be there. We'll see if he will be there. But
I don't know. He's cursed when he goes to games now, apparently.
Huh?
He's cursed when he goes to games.
No, that was his first loss. Last year, I think last year he went 2-1. This year he's 0-1. So he usually has a pretty good record when he goes. But yeah, it was. Oh, and it was really nice seeing everybody at Thunder Alley. Thank you everybody who stopped by and said hi. Really cool. By the way, Mimsy comes up and she goes, Dan! And Dan like turns around and goes, what? And then she's like, I'm talking to you. He's like, oh crap. Oh, hi. And then he gives her a hug and he's like, yeah, I'm just so surprised when people want to say hi to me. So it was really nice seeing everybody, and definitely appreciate all the hospitality and the free tacos and everything. So you guys were better than anything I got in that damn stadium. But again, yeah, I pulled a Gilbert today because that was just horrendous. I mean, put a little bit of effort into this shit. But again, thank you guys so much. You guys are the best. Gilbert, Thomas, vámonos.
Yeah, let's get out of here. You got Raw and you got 2 games that are kind of so-so games on Monday Night Football. But let's get out of here. Ya nos vamos. Pues, vámonos.